yeah, wow, do we got a lot to talk about with this chapter. And just plunging right into it, we learn the major turning point that led Shiki's future self down this path was the final moments on Nero 66, where not the Shiki we know, he made the choice to stay, and so Nero 66 was the destroyed planet that we saw. So, and in doing so, by staying on the planet through some sort of unification of his and Rebecca's powers, not only did they cause a space-time distortion that flung them into the future, but the backlash of such an event is what killed Rebecca. And that is something I was informed about through last week's review, but I was not prepared for the other side of that coin of this reveal, which is that not only was Shiki transformed into a machine after arriving into the future, and that he also began progressively losing more and more of his memory by the time he became Ziggy, but that the world of the future is basically a world without humans. Like it's also a world without Mother. So pretty much all but confirming that, yeah, Mother is a construct created by human will and imagination. So if that dies, then so does Mother. And with that as well, so does Ether itself begins to disappear within the cosmos, meaning machines cannot function within a world without humans or without Mother. And honestly, with pretty much this reveal of what happened with the future Shiki and the future Rebecca, I wouldn't be surprised if this was Mashima's way of kind of foreshadowing that something like that is also going to happen in our timeline, but in contrast to what happened with Rebecca, it'll be a situation where both Rebecca and Shiki do this, whatever scenario this unification of Rebecca's and Shiki's powers is utilized. I think that's his way of saying that will happen with our Rebecca and our Shiki, but it'll be utilized in a way where Rebecca doesn't die. It'll be in a more controlled environment, in a more controlled scenario, and it'll be something that will probably be something they'll do that will actually save all the other universes, I think. Now, from knowing this, we learn that Shiki, as Ziggy, was given a mission by the High Robot Council to travel the world we know and prevent humanity's extinction because that world is World Zero. It's the convergence point of all other universes where whatever happens within our own timeline, it has an overarching effect on all other timelines as well. Now, this is where Mashima does get a little bit clever in how he approached this reveal, because although he didn't get a necessarily direct explanation for how or why Ziggy wants to destroy humanity within World Zero, we can now pretty much assume that the very likely reason why he believes mass genocide of humanity within World Zero, why he's doing this, is because he believes that by destroying humanity, it will have the counter effect on the other universes, causing humanity's restoration upon those other universes. Which is dark as fuck, and honestly, I don't even know how likely that is to even work, considering what Mashima has continuously hammered home about time through the series. But at the same time, with World Zero being that convergence point, I can actually understand how and why Ziggy might think this would work, and for as fucked up as it sounds, he is generally trying to save the universe. For him, he sees World Zero as a sacrificial point, something that needs to be sacrificed in order for all other universes to thrive. It's fucked up, but it does make a lot of sense, unfortunately, in context of what he believes in his plan. And obviously, I can't go without mentioning how Mashima once again dives deep into the fucked up imagery and just fucked up revelations and just cold logical approach to this chapter. Because it's already fucked up enough seeing Rebecca's corpse strung up by wires, but to hear the Council tapped into that power to fuel the Eden Zero's travel through time is just insane. And if I'm correct about my assumptions about this, then understand what this reveal in itself means. I believe through this reveal, we just learned the horrifying truth about what is locked behind Vault Door labeled 3173 aboard the Eden Zero. Etherion. Obviously we know Etherion is locked behind that door, but Etherion is Rebecca. The Rebecca from that timeline's corpse. And honestly, just saying that out loud makes way too much sense, while also being extremely terrifying and, let's just say, a little unnervingly uncomfortable to literally digest. Like, literally, even now, I'm having a little bit of trouble even controlling myself from blowing chunks, so to speak. Like, seriously, looking back, it feels like in Zero is Mashima putting himself through some kind of test, just how far he can push things, and still somehow succeeding at it in strides. Like, if anyone, like, this was honest, these reveals were honestly more masterfully done than I think anyone has ever realized. And if, honestly, if any, to give proof of this, if anyone has ever, and still some, like, it shows just how far he can push things and still somehow succeeding at it in strides. Like, for anyone who has ever read the little mini manga Mashima drew about his life story, one thing that stood out is that he saw a lot of Western movies growing up, and in that particular section, he drew what I can only assume is a rough-looking drawing of Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and that in itself not only goes a long way to explaining the man's fascination with time travel in his stories, but this is him taking that concept to its honestly most extreme, and shows what Mashima is capable of when he goes unhinged, but also just how well he's capable of using those concepts. Like, for as much as I've warmed up to Fairy Tail and as much as I like Raid Master, this feels like Mashima's writing in its darkest but most refined form, with how none of these reveals feels out of place. It all feels perfectly in sync with what we've learned about the story thus far. Like, it's dark as fuck, it's disturbing as hell, and it's just all around fucked up in general, but it's like, the whole thing, it all makes way too much sense. It just does. And I'm like, how much more can we expect to happen from here? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how, even though we have yet to get this reveal within Ziggy's backstory, I think a lot of what we saw with Ziggy's story also kind of explains why he wiped the Starshine's memories. Like, I think, like the Dark Stars, he probably built them with the purpose of that conquest, but maybe had a moment of weakness and felt they could have better served as a safeguard in stopping him if he were to go down that path of trying to wipe out all of humanity on Planet Zero. So he wiped their memories. Again, I'll wait and see how this actually plays out if we see it. But considering what we see of Ziggy in this chapter, we did see he had reservations about even taking out the task he was entrusted with by the council. So he probably did have more than one countermeasure in place. And yeah, this just got, even if right now the current Ziggy isn't even aware of those measures. And yeah, this just got me curious in general of what the Starshine's role in all this is, because with keeping the whole memory wipe thing, in keeping with the whole memory wipe thing, this just adds that extra bit of intrigue to it that makes me ask, what exactly have they forgotten? Like, what exactly did they know about Shiki that it wiped their memories of? But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I've got for this very fucked up chapter. But tell me what you guys thought, please, in the comments section. If you like the video, just like, subscribe, follow me on Analyst Crunchyroll. Just share this around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.